Welcome to the Daily Insider here on Vegas Insider. I am Kevin Rogers. Today is Wednesday, April 27, 2022, the final Wednesday of this month, and then it's going to be May coming up next week. So looking forward to that. The NBA playoffs. Now we have a few teams that are in the second round. The Celtics, the Heat, they are both there waiting for their dance partners. We still have a couple game fives tonight, Bulls and Bucks, Nuggets, Warriors. Home teams, if they win, they advance to the second round. So let's talk about all of this. Usually on Fridays, we have Tommy Freeze Pops and MTV's Devin Walker on, but we had to change a few things around. So they're on today. There they are.
Let's go, Celtics.
Wait. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. I did not color coordinate with Tommy Freeze Pops. This is an accident why I'm wearing green and he's wearing his green, and Devin's from Massachusetts. But I guess you guys could say what you want because the Nets stink, so say what you want.
I'll let you take this one away, Tommy, because honestly, I was off the boys, and I feel like an idiot about it. I was off them in Game 3. Tommy, you were on the spaces. You hit every bet. You hit the Kevin Durant under. You hit the Celtics money line. You had the Celtics with the points. It was an absolute sweep of the board. So how are you feeling, Tommy?
I'm feeling great. My betting account is plentiful at the moment because I've been riding the Celtics for all 4 games. And look, the East is shaping up for a little Celtics run here. And maybe I'm jinxing it. I'll knock on wood here. But, man, does Jason Tatum look like one of the 4 best players in the world right now? Might even be creeping closer to that 2 spot. I don't want to give it up to him just yet because I don't want to say 1. I don't want to jinx it. But, God, the guy is so good. He can do anything he wants on the basketball floor. And if he's not fouling out because of horrible officiating, he's going to take over the game for every second of the game. I love this team. They're built to win a title. And their health is working in the right direction. Well, it seems like that's not really happening for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference. The West isn't that strong. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. Cool me down.
I don't want to cool you down. I want to gas you up. I agree that Jason Tatum does look like the best player in the NBA right now. And I'll just say that. You don't have to. I'll say that. He looks like the best player in the NBA. I don't know who's playing better. I think he's just above 29.5 points a game in the playoffs. He is dropping dimes. He's hitting the glass, and he's playing intense defense. And if you told me that the Celtics were going to get Grant Williams to lock down Kevin Durant, I would say you are an absolute joke. But that's exactly what's happened. They're playing team defense. They have bought in. And yeah, I'm very interested to see when this inevitably is Bucks Celtics, and it will be. It will be Bucks Celtics. I'm so intrigued on how they are going to scheme against Giannis. It's an electric matchup. And the cards are falling in the perfect order for us to see a historic run here. And I'm very excited for it, Tommy. I'm with you there.
Now, when did you guys think the Nets were done? Was it after Jason Tatum's layup in Game 1? Was it the fourth quarter meltdown in Game 2? When was Brooklyn finished, you guys think?
Game 2. You don't go down 2-0 in a playoff series to a team as well constructed as the Boston Celtics. Rarely does an NBA team come back from down 0-2. And when the Celtics made that comeback, they played like ass that game. Let's be honest.
How do you play like ass?
They played like absolute ass. Watch the first 3 quarters of that game. But they just kept hanging on, chipping away. And the Nets' confidence just kept going. And Kevin Durant didn't look like Kevin Durant this series. So after Game 2, I was confident that the Celtics were going to win this series. I didn't think they were going to sweep, I'll be completely honest. But after Game 2, I was very confident that we were going to advance to the second round.
It was clear to me when Robert Williams came back and was exactly the same guy. He did not miss a he did not miss a beat.
It's the internet. It's fine. Whatever.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I do need to apologize for my lighting, though. Okay.
No, it's
tough
sultry.
in
I
here.
like it.
It's tough in here. We're not. It is a little bit of a mood killer. Okay, we're trying to stay up on this Wednesday, last Wednesday of April. Shout out Kevin for that.
Thank you. I'm glad I gave you the calendar reminder.
Someone had to do it. I didn't know what day it was. So I'm glad about that. But
sometimes you need a reset. Keeps you honest.
Well, when Robert Williams came into that into Game 3 and looked like Robert Williams, I knew I had made the wrong bet. And I had taken Brooklyn in a couple teased through 0 like an absolute jackass, and assuming it was going to be a close game. And as soon as he came in and looked like Robert Williams, and I'm thinking to myself, now you got Grant Williams playing out of his mind. Arguably MVP of the series. That's a hot take, but arguably the MVP of the series. Absolutely lights out on both ends of the floor, top to bottom. I mean, I'm very interested to see what his plus minus was for the series. I imagine that it's towards the top of that.
It's got to be way up there.
It's got to be way up there. He's got to be plus double digits for the series. He has to be. And so when Robert Williams came in and was Robert Williams, then I thought to myself, all right, they're done, because Kyrie and Durant showed glimpses of Kyrie and Durant, but the Celtics stayed even keeled and played to their ability for 100% of the time. And that's what it takes. We saw flashes of Kevin Durant and Kyrie, right? Okay, now they're on. They hit 3 shots in a row. Now they're on. No, it turns out they're not. Call timeout, right? We have to give massive credit to the coaching. Call the right timeouts, make the right schemes, make the right in-game adjustments. And everything, they were firing on all cylinders. So for me, it was Robert Williams coming back and already adding to what was a dominant team, a dominant player in Robert Williams.
I'll give you one last point here on the Celtics. And you brought up coaching, Devin. I really think Ime gets not enough credit for what happened in that series with Kevin Durant, because the Malcolm Gladwell theory, you need your 10,000 hours to master anything. Ime has had his 10,000 hours with Kevin Durant. He coached him on Team USA. He coached him on the Nets. He played against him. He's coached against him when he was on the Spurs staff. He knows how to defend Kevin Durant. They're friends in real life. He helped implement a plan to have one of the greatest offensive players in the NBA have one of the worst series of his career. So hats off to that guy. I know about midway through the year, I was ready to can Ime and bring Brad back from the front office. And I was wrong, and I'm completely okay with being wrong. I took the Celtics at, I think it was plus 2,800 to win the East I have it written down here, my futures page. On February 15th, I took them at plus 1,200 to win the East and at plus 2,800 to win the NBA Finals. Wow. Because I said, why not? Let's try and give it a little good juju to the boys, and they took off.
Bleed green, baby. Bleed green.
So let me ask you something, Devin. Would you hang this poster up on your wall?
Yes.
Oh, that right there. That is. So we saw Kyrie Irving in I believe it was Game 1 when he's turning around and doing this to the fans. Okay, that right there. You can just title this photo "Kyrie Irving." Okay. See ya. Bye. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for playing. See you next year. Okay, because that's when we will see you, because you got swept and now you're out of the playoffs. Go join LeBron James. Out on the beach. Also, LeBron, working your dance moves. Stop trying so hard to look relaxed, okay? No one's buying it. You're not relaxed, all right? I don't care how many, Don Julio Blancs you had. Those are bad dance moves, okay? And we don't want you there. We actually, for the game, we want you in the playoffs. So maybe you and Kyrie can get back together, okay? Go back to Cleveland for one more. They got some stars over there. Okay, go ruin another ship. But the dance moves in Mexico, they're not it.
What do you think about this guy?
I honestly feel bad for him at this point, man.
I don't.
No, like, does he
Your
have
back
no
hurts 'cause you're taking all
self-awareness?
this money that you're not even playing.
Like, what? He has bad people around him, man. Like, he's getting terrible advice. The outfits on the sidelines, just the horrible decisions when it comes to deciding if he's going to be available or not. Like, don't even be on the bench, dude. Like, stay up in the press box, stay at home. If you're not going to play, you can't sit on the sidelines dressed as a clown and not expect to get absolutely clowned. Like, this is how the world works now, dude.
There is a trending theme in the NBA to your fashion, right? Fashion sense and your ability to play basketball, right? You can't have both. You need to pick. You have to choose. We saw this with Russell Westbrook. You need to choose. You can either be a fashion icon.
Well, Cam Newton also. If you go to NFL.
Okay, Cam Newton. There's
Great call.
There is a distinct connection here. You can have one. You can't have them both. Do you want to be a fashion icon or do you want to be a professional athlete? Because they don't go hand in hand. Okay? They don't. I'm sorry. And Ben Simmons has chosen to be a fashion icon. Honestly,
Okay, what about our guy TB12 though?
Tom's got terrible fashion. Tom wears like sweaters. Tom wears like sweaters wrapped around his neck. He looks like he's a guy. He looks like he's always in Nantucket. I'm like, Tom, you never go to Nantucket. Stop dressing like it.
Wow, fighting words.
Shout out Nantucket, though. Good island. Good island.
Ack, baby.
See, one more thing about Ben Simmons is, I'll give you a conspiracy theory I just made up. That, do you think after they were down 3-0, they're like, forget it. Don't even play. We're going to lose this series. Why even throw him out there? Instead of Ben saying, oh, I woke up and my back hurts and I can't go out and play. I mean, you're 23 years old and you haven't played in a year and your back hurts after you just went to sleep.
It was bizarre. I'm not buying the back thing. I mean, that's I don't think anyone's buying that. You did a workout and your back hurts. Like, you're gonna play basketball in a year. I don't even understand. Also, like, we don't know what the injury is. It's literally just my back hurts.
It's
right?
his ego.
Like, that's what I say when I don't want to do something. Right? If ever I call out of one of these and I'm like, guys, sorry, I got it on my back. It's horseshit. Okay, that's never.
Just put some icy hot on it and be done.
I agree with you, Kevin, though. I think that's probably the right read is that management, I imagine, just said, you want to know what? We don't have the horses. This isn't going to be competitive. And why are we going to further hurt this man's ego and just bring him in to get absolutely smoked, which is what was going to happen. And shout out, I'm actually in Brooklyn, little known fact, okay?
Be careful, man. They're going to know you're a Celtics fan. And
yeah. I wish I could be careful. I wish they had any sort of passion in this city. They don't. It's just a bunch of betas walking around with their hands in their back pockets. I don't get it. And did we watch that series? Like, was there a home court advantage? No. There were Celtics fans in the stadium taunting people with full Celtics gear on. And not a single can gets thrown. Not a single, like, little cheesy bite. Anything. You gonna hit them with a pretzel bite? I'm blown away, Brooklyn. Pathetic.
Yeah, it's a crappy fan base. Because, they had the New Jersey Nets for a generation of fans. And they're like, oh, we're going to move up to Brooklyn. Everyone in Brooklyn is a Knicks fan. The Knicks are one of the most established sports franchises in North America. Whether they're good or not, they have an incredibly large fan base. You can't just move to Brooklyn and expect to, it doesn't matter how many good players you bring to your franchise. You're not going to just change allegiances overnight. I mean, I get, maybe bringing the team to Brooklyn helped with the value of the franchise, and Barclays Center is more of a real estate deal than helping the team become a competitive basketball team. But yeah, it's detrimental to the franchise to have the team play in Brooklyn. They should play like 15 home games in New Jersey a year and see what the difference is, and then maybe head back.
I don't know what they need to do, but I know this wasn't working because he just got swept by who would be their rival in the East, right? It would be the Celtics. I don't know who else it would be. It would only be the Celtics because of the beef with Kyrie. But if they have a rival, it's the Celtics. You just got swept and no one cared. No one in that stadium cared. They were just, sitting there having their Pinot Noir. It's like, who drinks Pinot Noir in a basketball game? Unbelievable.
I want to play more picture time with you guys.
I like this game. Oh, beautiful.
What about that from last night? Is that not nasty? The
Just-
most improved player in the league, John Morant. He wasn't good last year, and he got good this year.
Yeah, he sucked last year. That's so weird. He was terrible. Look at him now. Okay, first thing that comes to mind here is phenomenal hair. Just phenomenal hair. That is top tier right there. And he's got a swag. I love how much they're showing his dad, because it's like father, like son, and his dad is like a handsome guy. He's got swag. He's out there. He's chirping. And John Morant seems to have, gotten bits and pieces of that. He's not afraid. He keeps saying, "Give me the smoke. Give me the smoke." He keeps saying, stay on what side you were on initially. All those people that want to switch up, like, he is a very likable basketball player. And obviously that photo is incredible. And he's just, he's a one in a generation talent for me. I mean, I haven't seen somebody like him. I keep referencing Russell Westbrook. It's probably it's Westbrook and Rose for me are the only guys. But in the last decade, it's John Morant. Like, if you start in 2020 moving forward, no one plays basketball like him. It was Rose and Westbrook before that. But if you start there, he is a generational talent, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, so having a guy that is at that size, have that type of explosiveness and that type of just cojones, right? Like, he's not afraid of any moment, any player on the floor. It's going to be fun for everybody. It's hard to root against John Morant. I feel like T-Wolves fans probably are even having a tough time rooting against John Morant at this point. The guy is just incredibly fun to watch. This series has been amazing, by the way. Close games. No one has any regard for time and situation. They're just out there playing ball. I absolutely love it. I hope it goes 7. It's 3-2 now. But, man, just let's keep this rolling. Can we get 9 of these? Can we go best of 9? This is just fun basketball.
So fun.
Have you did you see the video of the lady that got on the court in Minnesota and the security guard tackled her 2 feet onto the court?
Yeah.
Several attempted sabages. Yeah. Right? I think there's been 3.
Because of the owner, because they're protesting the owner, so they're just going to run on the court, and I don't know what they're going to do, what that does.
One lady tried to glue her hand to the court. Terrible plan. It takes at least a minute to set. You have some just a little planning. Honestly, that lady's probably a Nets fan.
The one from the other day where the lady ran on the court. I don't know if you guys saw any of the other angles or other alternate videos that are out there, but it looked like that security guard had that thing scoped out.
He was like this,
10 minutes ready. He was staring at her, ready to go.
I'm going to get you.
The minute she got up, it was perfect angle. Boom, tackled right on the court. It was awesome.
Kevin, can you fill me in here, because I have done zero research on this, but I am interested. What are they What's the issue?
It's something with it's an animal thing. It's like some PETA thing.
But it's against the owner. Is the owner like a factory farmer or something? I imagine that would be maybe what
animal rights activists want Glenn Taylor, the owner of the Timberwolves, removed as T-Wolves governor after protest. Animal welfare activist, but I don't exactly know what. Hold on.
What did he do? He must. Okay. So if they're protesting him and he owns a basketball team, okay,
some stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd glue my hand to the court. I try to eat, good meat, like local stuff, but not a good look for these people because of the success rate. You're over 3 and you really haven't even gotten close to success.
But what is success? What is it? What do you
I
do
guess
to get it?
They try to glue their hand down, right? That's a terrible plan. And then they switched it up and did the chaining, tried to chain themselves to the basket, right? Better idea, okay? But you got to secure the lock. You got to get that lock in place faster.
What, you swallow the key? I swallowed the key. Go find it.
It's gone. It's gone. You didn't even bring the key in that circumstance. And then the last one seemed like she was just trying to get onto the court. It was just a disturbance. There was no, I didn't see any glue or chains. So I guess they've regressed now, which is not good. Again.
Well, and the thing is with glue, isn't glue made from animal parts? So it's like not even vegan friendly or animal friendly. So
Gorilla Glue.
We got to start thinking more.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go with Elmer's like the one you use in kindergarten. Forget that. You need the good stuff if you're going to do it.
Miss Lippy comes to mind.
Great pull.
Yeah, Miss Lippy out there.
She's got the
give up after 12 hours.
She's got the glue on her already.
All right, let's look at some of the other NBA.
Moving on.
You brought up a Miss Lippy reference, which is great. All right, so tonight we have 2 games. All right, first one, Bulls and Bucks. Do you have the Bulls any chance to cover? Forget about winning, just covering. No Zach LaVine.
I'm seeing it 12.5. Is that what you guys are having there? Yeah. It does seem a little bit like the Bulls are out of gas, doesn't it? It just feels like DeMar DeRozan at the first half. This NBA season has been so interesting because most of the teams that were, or players that were dominant in the first half, it has not been consistent. So, if DeMar DeRozan drops 40, they have a chance. But I believe it's Wesley Matthews that's been locking him up. And that guy is legit. He's a legit defender. So I think 12.5 is steep. It seems like too many points. I would probably go Bulls plus 12.5. Just under the impression that playoff basketball teams shouldn't lose by double digits this many times in one series. That's my initial take.
I agree with you. I think in spite of LaVine being out, they played tough in the 2 games in Milwaukee, getting all the points. They just come off 2 big blowouts. Like, this is just I think Chicago hangs. I think they do.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And I'm with you so much so that I have a 2-team parlay for tonight. Bulls money line, Nuggets money line. I got the Bulls at plus 600. I got the Nuggets at plus 350. We're getting that at plus 3,050 for a big fat payout. Lock it in. Let's go. Ride the train with me tonight. Both underdogs.
You absolute animal.
Let's do it.
That's the hottest take since the Baltimore over wins.
Look, I'm just going with the same philosophy as you guys are. I'm just putting my money where my mouth is.
I just want points. Give me points.
No, give me money line. I get more payout if I get the money line. Give it to me. I think, look, these are 2 professional basketball teams, right? You've got Jokic, who is maybe the best player in the league, and I don't need to knock on wood for that one. He's incredible. You have DeMar DeRozan, who was in the MVP conversation for a large part of the season. These are 2 teams that their opponents are very familiar with. I just feel like I don't see them going out just yet. And maybe I know lightning striking in a bottle is tough to harness, right? But I think both underdogs in this scenario are
Nikola Jokic is saying, why? Why?
I will also say I didn't put a lot of money on this parlay, but that's one of the beauties of getting something at plus 3,050. You're still getting a nice little payout there.
Listen, you're never going to find a plus 3,000 bet that I'm not tailing. So consider it done, okay?
Yeah,
let's go. Consider that done. Consider that locked in. I will, however, say that I am a little bit riding harder with Kevin's take of the points here, but I do like the points in both games. I just, it's hard for me to get all the way on the Golden State bandwagon right now. I don't know why I should be on there. It could be my dislike for Draymond Green. But I just think that in that series in particular, it is so reliant upon how the game is being officiated. So if Joker has 4 fouls in the first half, that they're going to lose by 30. But if Draymond Green has 4 fouls in the first half, then they could, the Nuggets could win the game. So I just, that one's a little tough to bet on. I think 8.5 seems high. 12.5 and 8.5, they just seem high. Maybe a 4-point teaser, get them to 16.5 and 12.5. That's probably my play of the day right there. Is give me the Nuggets and the Bulls and a 4-point teaser. Tease it up.
Yeah, maybe I'll drop that in as well. I still love my money line bet, but I'll go with the points as well. Why not? Right?
You could hit them all.
No, you're not allowed to take points. You're dying on the sword with the money line. You're not allowed to take points now.
I could put another bet in.
Yeah. Rehammer.
You can, but you don't tell us about it.
I'm excited. I love playoff basketball.
It's great. These totals are interesting too. Like the Bulls just have not been scoring, and if they're going to win this game, they got to play defense. So I think 217.5 seems high to me too. Like no Levine, whoever goes in is going to be a better defender than Levine's been in this series. I mean, he has done absolutely nothing on the defensive end of the floor. So I kind of like the Bulls with the points and the under. And those two things go together. Like if it is an under, it's going to be tough to lose by 12.5. And then 225.5, again, it seems high. I don't know. Like I might be double under, double dogs today, which is insane. Wow. Yeah,
it's very unlike you.
It's very unlike me to take both unders and well, it's very like me to take both dogs.
The unders, though.
I mean, the unders, yeah. The unders, I don't know. It just these totals seem high in playoff basketball. You know who I have to credit for my switch up on point totals is Reno Johnny. Reno Johnny on Twitter, who maybe this is a good time to plug the spaces too. He's been telling me in playoff basketball, especially fourth quarters, people slow down, they start playing defense. And these totals are kind of based off of what these teams averaged over the season. And he's been right. I'd like to see the numbers on playoffs in unders so far, but I'd say it's probably, if I had to guess, 65-70% unders.
Well, the Nuggets Warriors is 4-0 to the over so far.
4-0 in the over?
Yeah, we have not seen an under in this series yet.
Ooh, okay. They're due, right?
It's always the best.
Isn't that
how that's logic? Series 2. It was 223, 222.5, 223, 223.5. So now 225.5.
Interesting. Yeah, they're due. I'm going to go with their due.
Okay. I want to shout out Keith Wicks Jr. on YouTube saying that he's with Bulls +7 first half.
Ooh.
I like that. Because normally at halftime, it's not – the blowouts usually occur like late third, mid fourth. That's when you see teams start to pull away. Keith says Bulls +7 first half is his play for tonight. So I kind of like that, Keith. I might tail that.
Yeah, that's I like a first half bet. I love a first half bet. Who am I kidding? Honestly, give me the Bulls in the first quarter. Can I get DeRozan to score the first point too?
Wow. All right, you're getting out of control.
Let's go.
All right,
load up on the Bulls.
You teased it, Devin, so let's pay off the tease. Twitter Spaces, Vegas Insider, Devin Walker, the crossover event of the century. Friday nights, Saturday afternoons, all the way through the end of May. Check it out. Follow at MTV Devin Walker. Follow at Vegas Insider. We're also going to have our man at Reno Johnny VI, Jonathan Jorson, one of our handicappers, joining Devin along in those Twitter Spaces on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons. And we're actually going to throw in a bonus night this week, Thursday. NFL draft is going on, but we also got NBA. So we'll see Devin on the Twitter Spaces on Thursday night as well. We might mix in a few other days as we head into May here, but tune in, guys. It's a lot of fun. Kevin, you got to join one of these.
Oh, we got to get Kevin in there. And Fridays are going to be kind of a party. Fridays are going to be a little bit of a party, a little bit of a happy hour vibe, a little bit of end the week vibe. Okay, a little bit of a cold can cracking. Okay, so bring your favorite beverage, get on the Spaces. We'll be live. It's a live show. It'll never happen again the way that it happens there. And if you miss it, that's at that point effectively on you. So, bring your favorite beverage if you're 21 plus. I hope that it, contains a little bit of betting juice. And yeah, we'll see you there. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be fun. We're getting better at them. They're becoming a little bit more fluid. We've got some really good kind of consistent callers. Bryler Sperry comes to mind. A rotary phone Ari comes to mind. So it's a good time. If you haven't seen one, I hope to see you there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week.
And one other thing that I haven't even told you I'm going to do yet, Devin, but here we are. On Friday, on the Twitter Spaces, I am going to send the link for the Twitter Space to a random NBA player of past or present in my phone and see if they join.
Wow. That's fire.
It's Robert Parrish.
We're just going to – I wish it was Robert Parrish.
I've got Scal's number.
Maybe we'll send it to Scal. He's not going to be busy on Friday.
He certainly is not, thanks to the Nets. Well done, Brooklyn. Just freed up our guy Scal.
I'll list off a bunch of names. We'll let the Twitter Space choose who I send it to. I'll fire it off, and we'll go from there.
That's fire. I love that. That gets me fired up. It's 12:30 on a Wednesday.
Rate on that?
Say again, Kevin?
What's the success rate on that? Are you sending off random texts to former athletes and seeing if they'll join a show?
It's low for sure. It's definitely low to get them in the moment. A lot of times you'll get a few hours later, oh, my bad, just seeing this, or, oh, can I still join? And it's 4 hours later. It's no, man, it ended. The most success I ever had with something like this was when I was doing Madden simulation broadcasts for DraftKings. A random conversation came up about Canadian baseball players. So I texted every Canadian Major League Baseball player I had in my phone book, which was only two, Jason Bay and Ferguson Jenkins, who is in the Hall of Fame, and said, give me your Mount Rushmore of Canadian baseball players. Just out of the blue, no context, texted both of them. Jason Bay actually replied.
Did he put himself on there?
He did not. I don't remember his five.
Joey Votto had to be on there.
It was Votto. It was Walker. It was Fergie Jenkins. And I think he put Matt Stairs there just because,
Jenkins shout out.
Jenkins.
We are in the Fergie Jenkins portion of this show, and I'm here for it.
It's a hell of a name. So, yeah, that's the most success I've ever had with anything like that. But I'm willing to take another shot here.
Got to shoot to score.
I don't see why not. You never know who. Wasn't that a big thing during the pandemic when everyone was locked down? It's let's just see. You're not doing anything anyway, so just see if you could join us.
Right.
I'm busy. You're not busy. You're sitting at home.
Right,
you're lying.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're either at home or you're breaking the law. You choose a side.
Pretty much.
Right.
So, Devin. So before we let you go, so tell us more about the challenge. What you got going on?
Well, we've got a few things happening. I'm obviously still, waiting to hear if I will be asked to rejoin. But I'm certainly training as if I will be going.
That's
an actual muscle. Okay, so that's not photoshopped. I'm patiently waiting and hoping and that I get another shot there. And I will say this about all my time in the gambling world, it has, I believe, prepared me so well for competition game shows because I'm now seeing a different version. I'm looking at things like a handicapper, right? I've always had a math mind, but now I can really kind of focus in on the nuances of the game. So even going back and watching previous seasons, in my head, I'm thinking the winners of these things make sense because of the way that they, deployed themselves through the seasons. And how can I better replicate that? So if I am fortunate enough to get another opportunity, I will be coming correct. Let's put it that way. And I'll be implementing the tools that I have gathered over a long career of sports gambling. That is 150% accurate.
I absolutely love that. And
that was a fire monologue, by the way.
No, yeah, I cut that. Mark tape.
Behind you. Look, you see that little fire thing behind you on the wall.
Boom!
Also, the Challenge All-Stars, I believe, starts May 11th on Paramount Plus, which I'll be locked into as a big fan of the show.
And
rooting for my man Wes.
Shout out Wes Bergman. You took the words right out of my mouth. He's making his great return. That's a wild cast. That is that's going to be a really good one. You got Darrell, you got Jordan, you got Wes, you've got Letarian, you've got Nehemiah. I mean, Mark Long. The list goes on. Like those guys are absolute hitters, and some phenomenal female competitors as well. So Kayla's making her return. Sylvia, there are some dogs in that fight, and you don't want to miss that. All Stars 3 Paramount Plus. So if I get that call, if I get that little LA phone number call, I'll be very pleased. But I'm preparing as if I will, because again, you got to shoot to score, and failure to prepare is preparing to fail.
That's right, 100%. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I love it. You actually took the words out of my mouth there. I was gonna give you an exclamation point at the end with that exact phrase, but
shooters shoot. Okay, I'm a volume shooter. I need to get shots up. I need reps. All right. Also, one last thing. Can I do one last shout out?
Do it.
Baker Hill Invitational Horseshoe Tournament, 2-time reigning champion. Okay, it's May 7th. All right. I will be making my return to the pits with a new partner. We're trying to figure out a way to live stream this event so that people can gamble on it. And if we are able to do that, it's an 8-team double elimination horseshoe tournament in my backyard. Bet on me. Okay. Bet on me if I can get that up in the live stream.
Home pit advantage.
Home pit advantage, and it really is. Talk about reps, okay? Volume shooter.
Unreal.
Devin Walker, you can find him on Twitter at MTV Devin Walker, the Challenge MTV. Devin, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Kevin, Tom, I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
All right, you too. There's Devin, and always good talking with him. We usually have him on every other Friday, but today is Wednesday, and we changed things up. A little scheduling sitch, so that's why we're at where we're at. Now, I want to get to this with you, Tom. I know that you're swimming in the victory waters of the Boston Celtics, but why are the Boston Red Sox terrible right now?
Oh, man, the offense. It's crazy. I saw a stat the other day. I forget if it was through X amount of games or through this date on the calendar. I think it was games. Now let me see if I can find it. But we'll say through X amount of games, the Red Sox last season, as of last night, had scored 100 runs. And as of this moment, last night, they were at something like 65 runs. I mean, it just hasn't clicked yet. And when is that going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. You add Trevor Story to your lineup and you think that that's going to, send things in the right direction, and it just hasn't so far. So it's still early, and yes, Toronto looks terrifying, and Tampa's always hanging around. I'm never counting out the Yankees. Baltimore seems to be better than we thought. It's early. I'm not freaking out yet, but at some point, May 1st, maybe we'll decide to start turning the bats on. I don't know.
Since Patriots Day, they're 2-7. I mean, that day they lost to Minnesota, and they've won twice since. They've scored 5-2, 2-2, 4-2, 1-2, 3.
Yeah, it's cold, man. It's still cold here in New England. And I'm not even really joking about that. That could be a factor. It's hard to play baseball in the freaking cold.
What about in Tampa and Toronto? What about that?
Let's heat this thing up, Kevin.
No hit, Tom. They almost got no hit in a dome. Okay,
so it's tough.
Don't give me the weather stuff.
No, okay, I won't give you the weather stuff. I just need, for my personal well-being, I needed to warm up. But yeah, it's fascinating because this team is full of hitters, man. I mean, we know they can hit. That's why the Red Sox were in the position they were in last season. You know, they dominated the first 3 quarters of the year because they were just, the bats were on fire. So I think they'll wake up at some point. This happens in baseball. Everyone's kind of hitting their slump at the same time. It's like, you know, they're all syncing up right now. Let's sync up in the other direction.
So the Red Sox at 7-11. Toronto's playing well. Yankees are 11-6. A lot of people give them crap, and they're 11-6. It's not bad. In Tampa Bay, they're 9-8. They've been a little up and down. They lost to Seattle last night, but yeah, this has been kind of an odd start to the baseball season. You know, nearly a month in, and you're having a lot of unders, not a lot of scoring. The pitchers are complaining about the baseballs. It's just, this has been a very odd start to this season. You basically have one horrible team, Cincinnati, and everyone else is somewhat competitive.
Yeah, but that's good for baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone kind of in this close to 500 range is really good for the sport, especially given the offseason that they just had, where people were talking about is baseball gonna die? And you know, here we are now. It's clearly not dead. It's gonna take a while for the sport to die. It's not trending in the right direction, but it's still healthy. The thing that's fascinating to me so far is the Mets, man. I mean, I look, they have a good roster. They were good last year, and then they tailed off at the end. When I see what the Mets are doing in the early part of the season, they're just outperforming where I thought they would be in the early going here. You add Scherzer into the mix at that crazy number, and I know DeGrom hasn't been healthy yet, so they're going to even be better as we keep moving forward here. But you know, most of the time when it comes to the New York Mets, they're not going to meet expectations when they have them, and so far so good in New York. Both teams in New York playing good baseball.
This guy Scherzer's a monster, man.
He's
like a
$40 million
a year
man.
Deal, you know, that he's not shot yet.
No, and he's a dog too. Like, you saw him last night in the dugout screaming at the Cardinals. Like, he's just a maniac.
He's from St. Louis too. This was a big start for him a few nights ago. He always pitches well in St. Louis.
Yeah, when I was working in St. Louis, that was always a storyline when he was in town, that the Cardinals, it was like the worst free agency botching they had in the history of their franchise. When he was available after his tenure in Detroit, it was one of those things that Cardinals fans, it was like a foregone conclusion. Scherzer's going to come home. You know, he played his college baseball at Mizzou. He went to high school in St. Louis. Then he signs the big deal in Washington, and now he's in New York. It just didn't happen. And Cardinal fans are still salty about that.
I bet they
are. Should be.
Because that's the guy. And I know that Adam Wainwright is kind of well, before that was Chris Carpenter, but Adam Wainwright was kind of like, he's been the horse of this rotation for so long. And they had Jack Flaherty, you know, who's good, but he's a little banged up.
Can't stay healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. But Scherzer, obviously you add him into any rotation. And I mean, look, Scherzer is the number 2, it feels like, behind DeGrom whenever DeGrom is healthy. Obviously DeGrom is out right now. But think about it, like Scherzer anywhere else is the number 1. But he went to LA last year. He pitched well for them when he was with the Dodgers for the second half of that season, and they didn't make the World Series. But yeah, sometimes that guy slips through your hands, and the Cardinals still won without him. So they still were able to do without him. But imagine having him there. Yeah,
it would have been awesome for that franchise. I mean, Scherzer has had one of the best runs of any pitcher in the league over the last decade. I mean, he's just a dominant dude. Doesn't matter what league he's in, doesn't matter what team he's pitching for. He just deals. But the Cardinals, they're just one of those franchises that they're going to be in the plus column every year, regardless. Like they don't have losing seasons. So whether they had Scherzer or not, you know that they're going to get their requisite like 80-ish wins and be competitive like that. That's just what they do. And that city, man, they are absolutely obsessed with baseball. It's one of those markets that's sort of an outlier where baseball truly is king and nothing else even comes close to mattering.
Now, before we wrap things up today, Tommy, what about the NFL draft tomorrow? I mean, are you excited about that? I mean, forget about from like a betting perspective, but are you excited about it, or because I know we have a weird thing that when it's not quarterbacks or skill position players at the top, it's hard to get excited about defensive ends and offensive tackles getting drafted early. But it being in Vegas should be fun because there's going to be different elements there. It's going to look pretty cool. But I mean, like, I'll be excited for it tomorrow, but the buildup going into it, I don't get into mock drafts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not all that pumped about the draft this year. And like, look, there's years where it doesn't have to be quarterbacks at the top and I'll get excited. Like Jadeveon Clowney was a guy that I was excited about heading into the draft just because of who he was as a prospect. And, you know, there's guys in the past who during the draft process, I've fallen in love with, like Calvin Johnson. I remember being obsessed with sort of where he was going to land, but there just doesn't feel like there's that guy this year on either side of the ball. Like Aiden Hutchinson, he'll be a nice player, I guess. I guess it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys from Georgia get drafted in the first 2 days. That's like a interesting-ish storyline. But when there's no quarterbacks at the top, it's hard to get like really super pumped about it. And I mean, Pickett seems like the guy. It's going to be Pickett or Willis are the two guys that are going to go.
Yeah.
Maybe in the first round, we're going to get two quarterbacks. Maybe. And like a quarterback coming out of Liberty, does that really get you all that jacked up? I know he has exciting tape, but like, let's remember where he was playing college football. So I don't know. That makes it tough for me. I don't know, especially when the Patriots, I know that they're going to like trade out, which that's what they do. They trade down or they trade out of the first round. So I inevitably see that happening. I want them to get a receiver. I don't know. It's just, I'm not pumped about it. I'll watch, but I'm not jacked.
But even a guy like Malik Willis played against better competition than Carson Wentz and Trey Lance did, because at least he played on the FBS level. You know, you're still playing ACC. Like, they were an independent, but they still played ACC teams. They still played some decent competition, like FBS schools they played.
True. Great point. So that makes the tape more valid. But you then got to ask yourself, like, okay, can a guy like this who was at that school for a reason translate to the next level with everything that comes with being the franchise guy? I mean, when you get a guy at a big school, they've kind of dealt with that big school CEO of a big organization stuff.
Yeah, but that's not automatic. Matt Leinart wasn't good.
Definitely not automatic. None of this is, right? It's a huge crapshoot. But when I'm looking at a guy coming out of Liberty as a quarterback, I don't know, man. Like, how many small school quarterbacks can you name that have gone out and been Pro Bowl?
Big Ben.
Well, Miami of Ohio. Yep. So you got Big Ben. You got Brett Favre coming out of Southern Miss. And then the cupboard's pretty bare, right? I mean, it's Big Ten, it's ACC, it's SEC, it's Pac-12, like the Big 12. These are the conferences where you get your franchise guys.
Even a guy like Malik Willis still play for an SEC coach. Hugh Freeze had his issues at Ole Miss, and then he went to Liberty. So it's still
coaching from the hospital bed, you know?
I just think, and I understand what you're saying, that, okay, you're playing not great competition, guys that are at Michigan or at Texas or USC or wherever, they're playing better competition. But also there are guys that play at those schools, and then in the NFL, they just stink.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not good at all. So you kind of wonder, I mean, shoot, you go back to the Manziel stuff. He won the Heisman, and he couldn't get on the field, and he couldn't do anything. True. So
No, it's totally true. And
it's all situational.
To paint it with a broad brush and say any quarterback that comes out of a small school is bad is not correct. You can't do that. But when I look at the grand scheme of things, I look at how many small school guys have gone out and been Super Bowl winners or Pro Bowlers or all pro guys. Joe Flacco is another one that comes to mind, who started at Pittsburgh and then ended at Delaware. It just doesn't feel like it happens all that often. Carson Wentz was
what about
a
Josh
good
Allen?
dude. There you go. Josh Allen's another good example of a guy that's bucking the trend, right? That guy's a freak. Josh Allen's an absolute freak. I really, really hate that he's in the AFC East. Can we get him out of there?
Who's we?
Me, the Patriots.
You're fine. You've had enough success. Let someone else let someone else wear the crown for once.
I will say Buffalo, even though they're in our division and I should hate them as a Patriots fan, it's really hard to root against the city of Buffalo. I mean, have you ever been to Buffalo, Kevin?
Thankfully, no.
It's not a place that I would recommend visiting. It is just a blue-collar, post-industrial town. It's a town. Like, it is not a city. There's no skyline. It's an interesting place. I drove through Buffalo when I was moving to St. Louis, and my dad and I got some wings at Anchor Bar, which claims to be the inventor of the Buffalo wing. And they were amazing. So shout out Anchor Bar. But when we arrived there, I was like, is this it? This is Buffalo? And the biggest thing in the city is the football stadium. So it's hard to root against a town like that where you know how hard they've had it just in life in general, but with all the weather, right? And then just being that type of city on top of the fact that they lost 4 straight Super Bowls and they were a horrible team for 20 years. I kind of sneaky root for the Bills to have a nice little run here, even as a Patriots fan.
Buffalo to me, it just seems gray. It
is gray.
It's gray. There's no sun. And each of those Super Bowl losses got worse by the year as far as they go from a missed field goal to losing by 35 to the Cowboys, to then Thurman lost his helmet, and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Thurman lost his helmet, then they lost by 35 and to the Cowboys in Pasadena.
It's hard to fathom a team even making it to the Super Bowl 4 straight years, but to then lose it 4 straight years. It's just.
But they were pretty good. They were
really good.
Hall of Famers all over the place.
Absolutely, man. You could make the case that they were. I mean, if they had won maybe 2 of those 4, that they were the team of that decade. Yeah, I know the Cowboys won 3.
Hostetler and Mark Rippon in back-to-back years.
It's insane. They were cursed. They're cursed.
Right.
That roster's loaded, though, man. 4 Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame GM, and you have to think maybe a couple more of those guys over time are going to get in. Darryl Talley, Steve Tasker. So yeah, loaded.
Steve Tasker's on the Hall of Fame?
Not yet. No, he's been a nominee, I think 9 times, but no, he hasn't gotten in yet.
9 times, really?
9 times, yeah.
Really? So who's in? Kelly, Thurman, Andre Reed, James Lofton, Bruce Smith.
Yep. Those are the 5 players. And then you got Marv Levy and Bill Polian also in there. Loaded.
Yeah. Pretty good. Those Patriots in the 90s were very forgetful.
Hey, we went to a Super Bowl in the 90s, 96. Bledsoe.
Okay, you're right. I'm going through from 90 to but pre-Parcells was pretty bad.
It was bad. Yeah.
Dick McPherson.
Those were dark times. They were balancing between owners. Kraft bought the team, stabilized everything. Him and Parcells butt heads for a little bit, but Parcells kind of laid down the groundwork. You bring in Belichick after the Pete Carroll experiment, and here we are today.
So proud of you. I'm so happy for you. All of you.
I always point the wrong way.
Wherever they're at.
There's the helmet right there.
All right, Tommy Freeze Pops. What's I know it's on, but I'll let you say it. So Sean Payton joined the Great Day Nation this week, and what did he have to? Just a little nibble. What did he have to say about the Brady rumors with him and the Dolphins? He was tied into all that stuff.
Yeah, so he played the "I wasn't aware of anything" card. It was semi-believable. He said that after following up with the Saints organization after the fact, that he doesn't actually believe that the Dolphins made a request to trade for his services now that he's in retirement. But, maybe he's playing it close to the chest. He was saying conversations like this happen every offseason, and I don't know. He was kind of dancing around it. I wish I could have just piped in and said, BS, you were in on it the whole time. But him and Morton were having a conversation, two old friends.
Do you think if Mike McCarthy gets fired from the Cowboys that Jerry Jones gives Sean Payton a call and he unretires, comes back to Dallas?
I think that he'll definitely get the call. Peyton talked about it on the pod. He said something interesting. He said, just because, and these weren't his words, but he was essentially saying, just because you coached somewhere before doesn't make that a qualification for taking a job there again. And that was in reference to Morton talking to him about the Cowboys rumors. So I think Jerry Jones is interested. He's made that clear basically since Sean Payton took the Saints job in 2006. But it didn't seem like he was enthusiastic about the fact that these rumors are still continuing. He's like, look, I dealt with these rumors every day for 16 years coaching the Saints, so this is nothing new to me. So I don't know.
That's interesting. I never really thought about that. That everyone always goes to you were an offensive coordinator here. You should be the head coach here. But what if you hated it there? What if you said, all right, I got this job so I can move up in the chain to be a head coach eventually, but I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go, okay, New Orleans. They want me to be there with Drew Brees. All right, let's do this. And they did it. And I don't want to go back to Dallas. I don't like Jerry Jones. I'm not saying he's saying that, but we have this thing in our head. The only difference, I think, is in college, where if you went to that school or you're an assistant at that school that maybe you played at, you're going to eventually go back to that school and coach as your school. But this is not your team. It's just a professional team you coach with.
Yeah, and no, I think it's a great point by you. We just have this weird preconceived thing. Like, of course you'd want to be, like with Bill Belichick, there's always rumblings, he'll go back to New York and be the Giants head coach. Why? Just because he was a defensive coordinator there 30 years ago? No, right. Like that's just not how life works. Like I worked at the gelato shop in Newport when I was in college for a summer. You don't see me clamoring to become the manager of the gelato shop.
Is the job open?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't checked. It's not how life works. Sometimes you want to move on.
I would say put an application in and an under experience. I worked here a long time ago. I know the system. I know the machines very well.
Honestly, I wasn't a good employee. I'll just put it that way. I didn't play ball. We dealt with a lot of rich people, downtown Newport, a lot of yacht owners, seersucker attire, the salmon red shorts, boat shoes.
And then the boat shoes.
Yeah. And can I have extra sprinkles? I'd say, sure. I'd put more sprinkles on. And then an email would get sent to my boss saying that I deliberately didn't give them enough sprinkles. And I made a face when they asked for something. I mean, it's like,
what kind of face?
What do you want me to do, guys? I couldn't tell you. But the clientele clearly didn't like me. So I probably wouldn't even get this manager job if I applied for it.
Just say, look, I'm going to apply, but under these conditions. If it's my shop, this is the way it goes.
Yes, my rules.
Less sprinkles.
Or head down to the ice cream shop down the street. We serve gelato here.
Or what you should do is, to be really obnoxious, excuse me, can I have some more sprinkles? You got like a whole big scoop and just put it. Is that enough? Is that enough? All right, good. Take it. Shut up.
Or just give them a full cup of sprinkles and say, add as you please.
Here, just do this, and then you won't ask for sprinkles anymore. See? I'm telling you. You got to lay the law down with these people.
Hey, all experience is good experience.
I don't know about 100% of the time, but, most of the time. I get what you're saying. All right, so Devin Walker, you can find him on Twitter at MTV Devin Walker. And again, the Twitter Spaces, what time are those this Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, so on Friday, we're looking at a 6 o'clock Twitter Spaces, previewing the 7 o'clock game. And then moving forward. And then on Saturday, we're still waiting for the NBA schedule to lock in based on what happens throughout the week. But generally, we'll go live an hour before the first tip of NBA action for that day's slate. So fun stuff. They're really, really fun. And Kevin, we'll definitely get you in on one of those. I'll just text you one of these nights, see if you're available. Hop in. It's fun.
Okay, I will. I'm interested. You could find me somewhere
at VI Rogers.
Some VI Rogers. Find me on Twitter, on the big Twitter owned by Elon Musk now. Elon Musk. Here's $44 billion to buy this.
What a wild story that is.
I can imagine him to have that kind of money.
What an incredibly dumb spend by him. Can I just
put
that out there?
Spends with any other kind of money, or does it really matter?
I guess not, but not to be that guy, but imagine what we could be doing with $44 billion.
No, I'm with you. I could definitely be that guy.
Yeah.
Give it to homeless people. Give it to something. People that need it, not this silly.
Wasn't UNICEF came out with a thing a few years ago where they could completely eradicate world hunger with $10 billion? They came up with this whole plan. If we had $10 billion, world hunger, gone. Okay, cool. No one has ever given them the $10 billion they need. Instead, we have Elon Musk buying Twitter because he feels like it.
I agree. I'm with you on the whole spend this money, fix our society, and we're good. We don't need it on freaking Twitter.
Yeah. Do you want to have a legacy of being the guy that did all this awesome stuff with your money, or do you want to be the guy that everyone's going to remember now because he bought Twitter because he wants them to have an edit button and he wants them to unblock a few of his friends? Sorry.
Whatever.
Not for me, man.
But you can still find me on Twitter at VI Rogers.
Follow Vegas Insider on Twitter.
Right, exactly. And the Vegas Insider Twitter. All right, Tommy, we will talk to you again, I guess, next Friday because we'll be back to our normal spot. Tomorrow, we're going to talk NFL draft. We're going to have Scott Smith on from the Action Network, and Stephanie Odie's going to join me as well. We'll talk some draft. And, NFL
Kevin,
draft
when you have
so
Stephanie
ESPN can dominate again with the NFL talk.
Oh, you got to love it. Ask Stephanie how she did on the NFL draft quiz on Great Dane Nation this week.
I'm assuming it's not good.
It's to the tune of 0 for 7.
What were the questions? Okay, ask me the question. I didn't watch. Ask me the questions.
Oh, okay. I love this. All right, let me pull up the.
I'm not seeing it. I'm looking at my email, so I have nothing. I'm not doing this that fast.
I like this. Let me pull up the rundown. Rundown. Let's see. Stand by.
Yeah, we're not ending this just yet. I want to play this quick.
Okay. Okay. I'll set this up. Okay, what year did the NFL draft begin?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know.
Exactly. I was going to
something. I don't. That's a stupid question. I don't.
Well, I was going to set it up ahead of time. They were told this is going to be the topic, so they had time to study. So, that's something you would study ahead of time, right?
Whatever. Okay.
Okay. So 1936 is the answer.
Whatever.
The next question here, Kevin. The draft has been held in New York City more times than any other city. Which venue in New York has been home to the draft more times than anyone else?
Radio City Music Hall.
Bingo. John Elway was famously drafted number 1 overall in 1983, but refused to play for the team he was drafted for. Which team was it?
Baltimore Colts.
The Ohio State Buckeyes have had 3 number 1 overall picks in the history of the NFL draft. Name one of them.
Is Archie Griffin one?
No.
Wait. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
You should get one of them.
Orlando Pace.
Nailed it. There you go.
Who were the other
two?
Okay.
Dan Wilkinson and Tom Cousineau. So you wouldn't get those two. But Orlando Pace.
Okay, yeah.
Ohio State Buckeye reporter Stephanie Odie should have gotten all 3.
She didn't get that?
No, she went 0 for 7 on these.
Okay.
Next up, a wide receiver has gone number 1. A wide receiver has not gone number 1 in the NFL draft since 1996. Who was that?
Keyshawn was 95, I think. It's not Keyshawn, right?
It is Keyshawn. You know.
Is it? Okay. I wasn't sure which year he went. So, okay, it was Keyshawn. Okay.
Keyshawn in 96 to the Jets.
Okay. All right.
Which television network was the first to televise the NFL draft?
I think I got this one. Is it USA Network?
No, it's ESPN, 1980.
That was a trick question. USA, I think, did the NBA draft. Okay.
There you go. Okay, and how many quarterbacks were taken in front of Tom Brady in the 2000 NFL draft?
I remember a couple of the other names. There was the guy, Spurgeon Wynn was one from the Browns. The other guy, the Italian name quarterback who went to the 49ers.
Giovanni Carmazzi.
That's what I don't know why. I always remember his name. 2000. Was that Tim Couch?
No.
That was 99. Oh, Jesus. Would you say 7?
6 is the answer.
6? I got 2.
So you got 2 wrong out of those 7.
Can you give me the team and I can give you the quarterback? I'm not playing in the game. I'm just kind of like, this is like a practice test.
Sure. Okay. The first quarterback taken that year was the 18th overall pick by the Jets.
Oh, Chad Pennington.
Yep. Then Giovanni Carmazzi went 65th overall to the Niners. The next one at 75 to the Ravens.
Kyle Bowler.
Nope. In that vein, though.
Terrible quarterbacks.
Yeah. He lasted for a while as a backup.
Who?
Chris Redman.
I would never got that. I'm from Louisville. I would have never got that.
Yep. 163rd overall by the Steelers.
2000. Wasn't Roethlisberger. It wasn't. No, Tommy Maddox was older. Did he last a long time?
No. He is currently a quarterback coach at the college level.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know.
Played at Tennessee.
Oh, T. Martin.
Yep.
T. Martin. Right. He won national championship at Tennessee.
That's right after Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And then 168 overall by the Saints. This is a tough one because he's not really known for his time with the Saints. He's more known for his time with the Rams.
Rams. What college?
West Virginia.
Oh, Mark Bolger.
Yep, there you go. And then you got Spurgeon Lynn.
The Saints, never.
Right, because he's not a Saint. He's not known for being on the Saints. So
okay, so I failed for the most part.
No, you went 5 for 7. That's 71%.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, ask her how she did, and I mean, she's gonna. She says that the questions were unfair. I think those were all very fair questions.
Well, yeah, they were mostly fair. The first one, I think, was ridiculous. No one's going to know what the first year of the draft is.
True, but if you're told 3 days in advance, I'm going to ask you questions that are fun facts about the NFL draft.
No, that's not.
You don't think that would be?
That's not fun. No.
You don't think that would be something
that was on
ESPN,
though, wasn't it? From 1936.
No, the first time it was 1980.
It was on the radio.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you humoring me with that one.
You did good.
Yeah, I tried. I know a little bit about this stuff.
There you go.
All right. We're going to escape now. We're going to be done with this. All right. For Tommy Freeze Pops, I'm Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of the Daily Insider. And as always, best of luck with your bet.